Hello, today I'm going to explain different types of irreversible inhibition using my hands, a pen, pencil, watch, and a face mask taken from some ski goggles. Now, let's say that my hands are an enzyme, and we'll call it capase because it takes the substrate, this pen here, and decaps it, and we have our products like this, and the active site are my fingers. An example of a competitive inhibitor is pencil because it has a similar shape and size to the substrate, and it binds to the active site of my hands, but no reaction occurs, and it effectively just binds and releases itself and competes with the substrate for this active site, and that is a type of competitive inhibition for capase. A type of mixed inhibition is when the substrate can actually bind to a site distinct from the active site, but it can bind both to enzyme substrate complex and to just enzyme complex. The example that we have for a mixed inhibitor is this watch, and this watch can effectively slide onto my fingers like this, but it's not bound to the active site. Let's just say the watch band comes around and just binds on top of my fingers. That induces a conformational change that when I try to pick up the pen and try to decap it, it doesn't work because my fingers can't squeeze down hard enough and decap it. And this can bind either when it doesn't have substrate on, so it can bind, and it can bind when it does have substrate in its active site. So the pen is in my hand, the watch slides onto my fingers, and I can't decap it. Like a mixed inhibitor, an uncompetitive inhibitor can only bind at a site distinct from the active site in the enzyme complex, so it binds at a site distinct from my fingers. In addition to that, an uncompetitive inhibitor can only bind when substrate is bound to the enzyme, so when this pen is in the active site. An uncompetitive inhibitor cannot bind to an enzyme without a substrate bound to it, because without substrate bound in this case, without substrate bound, my wrists are not close enough together for this uncompetitive inhibitor to bind when the substrate is actually bound in the active site. This thing can basically go around my wrists and inhibit my hands from actually pulling apart the cap from the pen, effectively inhibiting the reaction. But if this face mask is removed from my wrist, reaction can proceed. This has been a quick overview of different types of reversible inhibition in enzymes. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.